All right, this one hits hard, and it really resonated with me, especially coming from the music industry and having dealt with various studios, record labels, and management companies. In this Twitch live stream, I talk about the situation involving VTuber Ironmouse, where we dive into issues with the management, broken trust, and how a system that is supposed to support talent can completely just utterly fail them altogether. I want to break this down and share some of my own experiences that made this situation feel all too familiar, why it's both legally and ethically serious, and how it connects to the long-standing history of artists getting screwed over by the very people who are supposed to have their backs. And it just happens time and time again. It feels like it just happens a lot in the music industry in particular, but of course this happens in every single industry. Everyone's trying to get one over on somebody, it feels like, no matter the business that you're trying to be involved with, it seems like to me. Let me know what you think down below about this entire situation. Follow us on Twitch so you can be part of the live discussion and reactions over there. All right, let's check this out. Counts as something for the channel. It's music related, right? Don't VTubers sing? They do sing. They do have music. Okay, so here's the video. Okay. Oh, the legal mindset. Dude, jump ahead.
I've got
I love that feature.
So with this case, obviously, it all started with the mouse. And there are two clear things that she dropped in her message that are legally relevant. First is that she has not been paid wages. So she's owed back wages. She's not been paid for a long time.
Classic.
And these payments that she's owed are in delinquency. They've been owed to her for a long time. She hasn't been paid. And this is something that has been mirrored by other talents. We now have talents such as K-Son coming out and saying, I have not been paid for a long time. In fact, I believe she said September of last year, a very, very long time without payments, which is severe, which is significant. So there is an extended period of time with which people have not paid out to the talents. That's a massive, massive problem in and of itself. But the other great problem, and the problem that can have huge criminal liability, is the potential fraud related to the charity, related to the Immune Deficiency Foundation that Ironmouse has always been so vocal for, because it's the cause that represents research that would help people like her and give them.
So this is one of the biggest VTubers.
It really was something that she was so invested in, and they decided to take $500,000 and not pay that out to charity. Whatever they did with that, it was not paid to charity. Massive, massive issue. And that's an issue that can see people behind bars, that can have criminal penalties. Absolutely.
But it never happens. And so this is
of this video, understand that.
So her name's Ironmouse, right? So when people found out about this, they raised over $1 million in just a couple of days for that charity. That is crazy. And specifically, Ironmouse stated that over $500,000 intended for the Immune Deficiency Foundation from her record-breaking Twitch subathon in September 2024 was not paid out by VShojo. VShojo CEO has since admitted to using some of the charity money to try to keep the business afloat. Why do you got to keep it afloat when you have the biggest VTuber working for you? It doesn't make any sense. There's obviously fraud there. Following Ironmouse's departure from VShojo, her community raised over $500,000 to cover the amount owed to the IDF, bringing the total raised nearly to $1.2 million, according to the Aftermath.site. Ironmouse, who mentioned that a significant amount of funds she was personally owed were also withheld. The situation highlights the challenges VTubers can face in managing their finances and importance of choosing reliable platforms and agencies. You know what this kind of reminds me? It reminds me of like when, you know, bands used to get fucked over all the time. It's always creators getting fucked over all the time. And it always has to do with management. It always has to deal with somebody and money. Sometimes it's artists too. Like sometimes there's a particular artist in the group that screws you over with money. I actually was in a similar situation with an artist where I got screwed over royally because honestly, I take the blame for it because I decided to front the money anyways because I believed in the project. I thought I was going to work. I thought I was going to be successful. And as soon as money started coming in, I never got paid back. And then that's when everything went downhill. I was paid back with equipment. And then it was said that I stole the equipment. And then I gave the equipment back because I didn't want to deal with that. So I was like, I'll just take the loss, gave the equipment back. It was a mess. It was a mess of a situation. That studio went under, of course, because the other person I worked with was a piece of shit. And it just tanked the whole thing. So It happens all the time. So I'm not surprised it's happening with VTubers at all. Not surprised.
Taking the allegations as credible.
Bands still get effed over. You're right.
Argument you may make of they're not proven yet, whatever. I understand you, but we're going to take them as credible for the purpose of this analysis. So let's continue here. So we had obviously Ironmouse speak up, and then we had Kason get on with the JP CEO. Now this was very enlightening and actually gives us more of the business side of what is going on at VShojo. It's very clear from this that VShojo is in financial hot water, that they were not profitable.
You're right, Ken. I've worked with a lot of pieces of shit.
Between JP and US, it's very important to note that there was no official legal distinction. That is an internal distinction.
I'm sorry, it's really funny that the initials JP just came on the screen, because if you know that story I just told you about, you know what the JP stands for, and the person that I worked with that royally fucked me and the whole entire band over. So it's really, really ironic that the initials are JP. I gotta say, there is hope out there. You know, I work with Cometa, and Grant is like the main leader of that group, and he takes care of all of us. He always pays all of us all the time, and he makes sure to do things right. So you got to give credit where credit's due. Some members, like Grant from Cometa, stand-up guys, will always try to do the right thing. Always.
Now, one big thing that was brought up during this was that the staff was paid and not the talent. There is a very important reason for that, which we're going to get into, which is all of the talents are designated, and this is for almost all VTubing companies. I have not seen one contract, and I've reviewed all of them, including the VShojo contract, DG Sanji, Hololive, Vactor, all the greatest hits from big to small, Face Connect. I've seen all of them. I haven't seen a single contract that has said these people are employees. We consider them employees. They all try to make them independent contractors.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yeah,
Fighting.
Yes, that is a trick. That is a trick right there. So the reason why this studio exists right now, it's called Melody Factory, is because the guy that I'm partners with, Manny, who will be on a lot of new drum videos coming out, by the way, he got screwed over by the last record label that he just worked for, or the last recording artist he worked with, because he was put in as an independent contractor. He tried to go after him for all the money that they owed him, and he lost the lawsuit because he was an independent contractor. So he lost the lawsuit because he was an independent contractor. And when you're an independent contractor, you need to have invoices and stuff like that of payments that you're gonna receive payment. And he didn't do that because he didn't realize he wasn't under him as an official employee, which at the same merit is still kind of illegal also. So I don't know how they spun that one. I'll have to ask him about it to get more details. But yeah, so the trick was that he was an independent contractor, meaning he's liable for anything that happens, losses, gains, whatever. Which is really messed up. It's kind of like when I hire someone to edit videos for me, they are an independent contractor. They're not an employee of mine. So if they injure their finger editing a video, I guess I'm not liable. Something like that. But yeah, so it's funny because this studio that is in the works here, Melody Factory, is kind of all the people that got fucked over by the music industry working at this one place. Pretty much. That's the backstory of Melody Factory, pretty much.
And paying wages, you have to pay employees under labor law, whether it's US law, Japanese law, really all around the world. You've got to pay out those wages. But when it comes to independent contractors, well, you can shaft them, and then they've got to come and sue you or bring an action against you or a claim against you to try to get those back. And I do think in the VTubing industry going forward, this is a massive lesson that all VTubing talent should be considered employees.
So Ironmouse's first video about it was a little bit heartbreaking when she was explaining how they got into streaming. That's a beautiful voice. Holy crap.
Look at you with all the love you felt before.
Does she have a heart tail? Did I just see a tail?
If you and I could disappear into the past.
She can't leave her room because her immune system doesn't work. So she does everything as a streamer. Oh, okay. That sucks. Feel bad.
At you were once that song.
And it's not boring either, like the tone of her voice. I feel the opera part of it, but it's very interesting. It's not full on opera, you know?
Or could it be?
She started streaming because she was lonely and wanted to make friends. She never thought she would be so successful. A lot of that happens like that, you know? Oh, that line right there, all the fools like me, and then she has a situation going on right now. I just like heard the lyrics to that line and was like, oh, wow. So this is a video of her talking about it.
I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by VShojo. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most important, the thing that hurts me the most is...
Does she own her YouTube channel?
Efficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from VShojo. I know that this is a lot, and it's very important for me to be honest with all of you. I really want to tell you everything, but unfortunately right now, I have been instructed by my attorney to wait for more of the legal procedure to unfold. So one day I will be able to tell you the full story. But for now, I just need to let you know that I will no longer be a part of VShojo. If you give me a moment of your time, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know for a lot of people right now that this might be the first time you're ever
She
watching.
does.
I became a VTuber because I really wanted to make friends. I was very lonely.
So, okay, so that is the one good thing about VShojo is that their talent retains their IP. I think that's very important because she can recover from this on her own very easily, just doing her own channel and stuff. I mean, if you look at these videos, there's millions of views on them. She can definitely recover. There is a definitely opportunity there where she could just start fresh, start again, and come back stronger than ever. At least there's that opportunity. And I'm sure her fan base will back her up no matter what.
Due to the fact that I have a primary immune deficiency disease called CVID, I basically have a low to near non-functioning immune system, which means I get sick a lot.
Oh, that sucks.
It caused me to remain isolated for long periods of my life. So then I found stream and I thought about giving it a try because I wanted to see if I could make some friends online because I honestly couldn't ever leave my room. I never really expected to grow an audience or anything. It was one of the last things on my mind. So a friend of mine recommended that I try an app called FaceRig that would allow me to use an anime avatar.
Oh, it's called FaceRig?
And that's how I started VTubing. And I was approached to join VShojo. It seemed like a good idea, but I honestly did not know if I could ever be a corporal VTuber because I felt like I just couldn't.
See, that's something I can't imagine doing is just streaming and getting the equipment to cover up my face. Like, it's hard for me to imagine doing something like that. But I guess it makes sense. It does make sense. There is a lot of people that just don't like going on camera at all. At all. They just don't want to do it. They don't want any part of it. Sometimes when I'm filming vlogs, I try to avoid people's faces when I'm filming because a lot of them don't want to be on the camera at all.
For right now, here's what I am allowed to share with you. I would always be told how important I was for the company to succeed. Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me to the point where I felt guilt-tripped into signing. I felt responsible for everybody. I felt responsible for staff and talent alike. And I felt like if I didn't do this and if I didn't stay, I was hurting everybody and I was destroying everybody's life. But this didn't feel right with me.
I mean, everything she's saying is so true. It's like when you go into business just in general and you have other people that are working under you. When I would have like editors and stuff like that, and then you just see money not coming in, you start panicking. You start freaking out. I had to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do this. You should keep looking for another job because I don't know how consistent YouTube's going to be because it is very hard to pay people or like, because well, it's hard to pay people when you're like trying to build something. That's like one of the hardest things in general. And then when you're at her level where you are able to pay everyone, then you feel trapped into that position because you know if you quit, some other people are not going to get paid also, and they're going to lose their job. So if you feel all of that and take that all in, it can be pretty devastating emotionally just to be like, damn, not only am I just feel selfish for just leaving this job and I'm like trying to do something better for myself, but like in the pursuit of doing something better for yourself, you feel like you're ruining everyone's life underneath you that was counting on you to pay for. That's why even running areas or whatnot, running multiple restaurants, multiple employees, it never gets easy when you have to let somebody go either. And then when you do your own business, then there's even more to it. And it's just, it can be really rough. It's a really rough, tough spot. So I feel her pain 100%. 100%. It's just like taking on this music school stuff. It's like, okay, cool. We have teachers here. We need to make sure we have enough students now every month. We need to make sure we're bringing in some type of revenue for YouTube. All that stuff is all part of it, but it's the risk you take. It's the risk you take doing it. And some people handle it better than others. And some people collapse under the pressure because there's a lot of pressure under it.
I began to feel extremely uncomfortable. As my viewers know, privacy is open.
Not gonna lie, Janine. Yeah, listening to her, I'm like, oh man, yeah, this shit is stressful. It really can be.
I've had a lot of scary experiences in my life. So one amazing thing for me was the fact that VShojo handled all my payments, and it meant that I never had to give out any of my personal information. Over 200,000 people supported me. We raised over $329,350 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Because the money came from my Twitch revenue instead of a Tiltify link, it required VShojo to make the donation on my behalf. We had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
Crazy.
I once again asked VShojo to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, VShojo has not paid the charity. The Immune Deficiency Foundation means the world
That's
to me.
horrible.
I just wanted to do something good and to give back to a community that helped me. I also wanted to say that all the ad money made from this video will go towards the Immune Deficiency
That's
Foundation.
good.
I honestly don't know what I'm going to do, but below the video in the description box is a link to a donation fund for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thankfully, any donations made through Tiltify go directly to the charity.
Here, I'll drop the link for you
That link
guys.
is also there if you've heard about this and would like to support the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Sometime this month, I plan on doing a special live stream in order to raise money.
See, that's what I was thinking. If she does another live stream, she'll be able to get it
I
back.
have a ton of friends joining me, and hopefully there'll be a lot of singing and a lot of fun and just a day full of happiness. So thank you guys so much for all the support, and thank you
She's
so
currently
much for
over
taking the
900,000 for the
time to watch
fundraiser.
this video.
That's awesome. So they're already almost at 900K for the fundraiser, almost to $1 million. Love you so much, Mouse. I'm so sorry that people you trust to let you down so badly, Ironmouse. It's genuinely disgraceful. VShojo really do have an awful lot to answer for. This isn't a situation you should have to go through. You've got our full support. Man, it's so wild. I just can't believe something like that would ever happen. Looks like it's at 1.2 million now. Wow. Well, congrats. Okay. Hey, see what I was saying though? Like, she has everyone's trust. It's not like she fucked over everyone, She still has everyone's trust, and she's still able to pull something together, which is really good. Man, woo, that was heavy. For me, it's just like, it makes you think about things, It could easily happen. I've been in this situation so many times, not at that scale, fortunately. But man, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with who you work with. It's so tempting to want to go the easy route sometimes and have somebody handle the finances for you so you can focus on creating. Creating is only like 5% of the job. 95% of it is everything else. It really is. And depending on how big or small you are, it still stays that ratio for a very long time. The only time that is a majority creativity is if you have a really good management or team that really backs you up, or when you're not an adult yet and you can still sit on a couch somewhere and play music all day long. It really is. It's like 5% of the job. Yeah, it's tough when clearly she was getting emotional. Yeah, that was I was like getting emotional all throughout the video, and just at the end, yeah, it's just tearing up. I'm like, oh god. I was like, no. I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we've gotten wronged or completely screwed over somehow financially at a job or anything like that. It happens a lot. And when you're in a business like that, it can be even more rough because it's just the magnitude, the scale of it is just very tremendous. Let's all be kids again and just do music. I know. Yeah, fuck this Smoothie King bullshit. Jesus.